Hi, this is Ray Ellen Smith from Indivisible Nob Hill. Here's some facts about House Joint Resolution 1 and why our kids need it. HJR 1 is a bill before the New Mexico Legislature that aims to fund early childhood education with money from the New Mexico Permanent Fund. Some legislators say we can't afford it. Here's why they're wrong. The New Mexico Permanent Fund is really three separate funds. Each has its own source of funding. For example, the Land Grant Fund began in 1910 as a way to grant statehood. Right now, the balance in the Land Grant Permanent Fund is over $17 billion. Yep, I said billion, with a B. It's one of the largest permanent funds of any in the 50 states. But we're still 50th in education? Let's look at a few details. The Land Grant Permanent Fund grows by income received like rents and royalties from oil and gas revenue. It's designed to provide for future generations of New Mexicans even when those resources are exhausted. The spending of the money in the Land Grant Permanent Fund is very tightly restricted. Right now, New Mexico is only allowed to spend 5% of the fund each year. The money must be spent on very specific purposes like education, hospitals, and universities. There are other beneficiaries, but these are the big ones. The trick, of course, is to keep the money coming into the fund greater than the money flowing out, just like in your household. Right now, we can spend 5% of the fund. House Joint Resolution 1 raises that amount to 6%. Every penny of that additional 1% would go to fund early childhood education in New Mexico. Every penny to set up our kids for a great future. According to the January estimate by the State Investment Council, the Land Grant Permanent Fund is expected to grow at a rate of 7%. If HJR 1 is passed, the total amount that could be spent is only 6%. Everybody knows 7 is more than 6. There's still 1% left over to go back to the funds to keep them growing. That's about $170 million at the present rate. But I know what you're thinking. What if the fund doesn't grow as fast as we spend it? Can we spend all the money away? Well, no. HJR 1 has a bottom limit. If all growth stops, which is very unlikely, we can never spend the fund below $10 billion. With a B, billion. Still one of the biggest funds in any state of the union. Prudent investing guides the growth of the fund. It's safe. This isn't a raid. It's an investment in our future. So at the end of the day, aren't our kids worth a little investment? Call your state House representatives and senators and tell them to vote yes on HJR 1. This video was produced by Indivisible Nob Hill, an Albuquerque-based group focused on education about progressive values for all New Mexicans. We are solely responsible for this content. Read more about us at indivisible.nobhill.com. Thanks.